All right, guys, welcome to Warriors Podcast. It's my pleasure today to spend time with and just chat a little bit. Hopefully, learn a lot. I know you will. My man, Dustin Whichard. Am I saying that correct?
That's right.
Cool. All right, Dustin. Hey, listen. So, tell us just a little bit about your background. But guys, here's the thing. I've seen him. I come down. We're in the Fort Mill office, so Charlotte. We call it Charlotte, but it's really like a couple miles across the line here in South Carolina. But I've seen him. I've known him for a few months now. He's been with us maybe 6 months, give or take. Full time, 4 months, something like that?
Full time, like 8 months.
8 months, okay.
Actually, October was my 1 year anniversary.
Okay.
Since being with FFL, but full
But from a
time
focus standpoint, what would you think? Like 4 or 5 months ago, maybe?
Oh yeah. From a focus, yeah.
Right. So here's my point. He was kind of playing around with it like some people might do in this business, kind of figuring it out. It wasn't like he was making, money. He was, 10, 15 families a month, somewhere along those lines. He's doing okay in most people's standards, right? And then I remember a couple months ago, he protected like 24, and that was his best month. And then what have you issue paid so far this month, or as far as how many families have you protected?
Issue paid almost 40 this
Almost
month.
40 families.
Yeah, this month. And then I've submitted almost 80 applications this month.
Nice. So again, and he made some changes. So again, 80 submits, and then again, 40 already, 40 families already protected and in writing. So that's good. So he's probably going to end up somewhere, on 60 plus range, give or take, I'd say. So that's almost triple what he did the month before. So with that said, give us a little bit about your background, a little bit about your family, anything you want to share about that. And I think the reason I say that up front is I want you guys to continue to listen, because I think it's really extraordinary to hear some of the things he's been doing and changing. So,
yeah, sure. So originally I'm from Maine. I grew up there. My family all lives up there. And I was a bartender my whole life. And my mom owned a couple of restaurants up in Maine, so I kind of grew up in that industry. And graduated college up there. Then I moved down to Florida, and I dabbled in different types of sales, but still mainly bartending was kind of my career for a while. And, I just saw a kind of a dead end there. You can only go so far, get so high up, and I kind of wanted to get out of the restaurant industry. So I found Family First Life with Mike Curry. He was introduced to me through one of my best friends, and after I met him, he explained to me how the business works and all that. And it sounded great, so I said, all right, sign me up, let's do it. And he sent me all the information, passed the test, and that was about a year ago is when I passed the test and got on board.
So would you say it's exceeded your expectations of what you thought, and maybe in the beginning you struggled? Because I think that we need to talk about that. Like there's, struggle, dream, that kind of thing that we go through, where there's a struggle, and then there's a dream, and there's victory. You're seeing that victory. And of course, you're just getting started with that victory, but is there some things early on that maybe you struggle with, things like that people that overthink things that you wished you would have changed?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think everybody kind of goes through that in some capacity. I just struggled staying focused, staying disciplined. I struggled with getting the ball rolling as fast as I wanted to, and I saw what everybody else on my team was doing, putting up these big numbers and helping all these families, and I was like, why am I not able to do that? And it just came from being not all in the beginning and being part-time and kind of hanging on to my bartending job on the side and not putting all my focus into this, fully committing and doing the necessary steps that FFL has completely laid out for everybody. The blueprint's right there. Mm-hmm. You just got to follow the steps. And I just noticed, as time went on, I went to Miami Convention last year. This coming year, I'm super excited to go back to that, super motivational and inspirational. But after that, I really just said, okay, I need to reevaluate what I'm doing here, why I'm here, what the purpose of me working in this industry is. And it just came down to realizing that this is real, helping families is real. And I actually had my first death claim not too long ago, like a month and a half ago. And that really is when, after that, I just went into overdrive. So,
would you say convention changed your outlook on the business, and how impactful was it going to Miami? Because we got Miami coming up February 1st through the 5th, actually for 4th, I guess. But make sure you guys put that on your calendar. If you haven't registered, go to make sure you do that right now today. Stop what you're doing and register for convention for sure. But go back to that for just a second, because there's two things here. One, convention. The other thing I wanted to ask you about is, you were doing this part-time. When did you said you quit when you came back, or how long did you do the bartending thing in this kind of a part-time gig almost?
Yeah, so I'll start by answering your first question about the convention.
Right.
That's fflconvention.com. Go and
you
register
go.
right now for sure. It's totally worth it. It'll absolutely change your business. You get around people who are doing this, successful people. You get to network with them, learn the ins and outs of the business, and hear it from the best of the best. So, I mean, it's just huge, and it will make your business grow, and you'll want to come back and just get it going. So that's what the best part of it was. Amazing speakers, everything. It's fun. You know, you get to meet new people, and like I mentioned, it's you have to go. It's
Yeah.
mandatory. It's just not an option to not go unless you want your business to stay, stagnant. And then what was the second part of the question you asked there?
Right. So we're going to talk about when did you said you start out almost part-time in a way because you
Right.
had the bartending gig on the side. So I'm talking to bartenders out there or talking to somebody who's maybe kind of hanging on to that. How long did you do that, and when did you make that decision? Was that after convention or before?
Yeah, so I was hanging on to the bartending job. That was originally before I got to FFL, my full-time job. And then I made it part-time. I told them, I'm getting into the insurance industry, and I think I'm going to, only work with you guys part-time now. So I made that shift. And after convention, I said, okay, I need to go all in on this. I need to put all my effort into this because I can see the upside to it, and I can see that there's room to grow in this company and get, a real legitimate business started on my own. So I really wanted that. I want to have my own business. I want to be successful, and I want to help people while I'm doing it. This is the perfect place to do that. So at the end of the day, I kind of still hung on to the bartending job, but I was like, hey, listen, guys, I can only work weekends now, if that. Weekdays are going to be strictly for this. And I just changed my mindset and my strategies, and like how many leads I was buying and how much time I was putting in was all changed after convention. Like, that's when I realized this is the time is now. Let's make it happen.
Right. And so you were another thing. So then you changed to, and I want to come back to that claim real quick. So were you doing, because you're doing all telesales right now, but when you had the claim, were you running in the field?
Yeah. So this is how it all worked for me. Up until about the end of June, I was all in home, no telesales, all in home. So I would do the normal, schedule my appointments on Mondays and Thursdays for the next 2 run days, get out in the field, and if I got no-showed, I'd go knocking on doors. I did a ton of door knocking too. But, I'd schedule my 30 appointments. I'd go out and run them. And the first death claim I had, that was an in-home appointment. I actually met the lady, and her husband was in the home with them for 2 hours. I really actually connected with them. I kept in touch with her, and then I got them both a Maricopa policy there. And 4 months later, out of nowhere, she passed away. It was super sad, and it affected me, and it made me just understand that this isn't just about writing policies and submitting policies and doing it just for the fun of it. It's like, when the day comes, and everybody's going to have it at some point, you get a death claim. And that's what makes the job just feel so much more real, and it just flipped a switch in my brain. So, but I was doing in-home until about the end of June.
Okay. Well, and so I think that people do make that transition. What have you learned? And here, let me just be clear on this death claim thing. So he talked about it got in his heart, right? Would you say that was a big deal for you?
Absolutely. It was really felt kind of surreal. I was actually on a 3-week vacation in Maine visiting my family and working while I was there, but probably not working as much as I should have been because I was with family. It was a little distracting and whatnot. But on the very last day, when I was about to come back to Charlotte, I got an email from Maricopa saying that I had a death claim, and I looked up who it was, and it just was so sad to me. I don't know. It felt like a family member. Like I said, I continued to keep in touch with them, and I texted her. I even bought her poetry book from barnesandnobles.com, and it was really weird. It was a weird feeling, and it was bittersweet because I was so sad that she had passed away and I had that connection with her. Mm-hmm. But I was happy that I got her that coverage and that her husband was given a check to help with the expenses of the funeral. So it's a weird feeling, and that was the first time I had felt it. And then I just said, okay, it's time to really go all in, really all in now, like no more messing around. And then in the past, like 2 months, that's when my business really changed a lot after that.
Yeah, so basically he went from, his best month before there was like 20 so families. And then, basically by the 6th, I think you'd already, 30, I think, families last time I talked to you. And now you're, you're at 40 or so and moving forward here halfway through, or just over halfway through the month. So it's super exciting. But again, what we do matters, guys. I think if you could rewind the clock for him, not that hey, I want somebody to die. The fact is, guys, everyone's going to die. That's one thing we do know. And so if you can get it in your heart ahead of time and understand that's part of it and just serve with your heart, you can change it quicker. You just have to understand you have to use Dustin's story. You have to use some stories I have, or whoever you're around. They all have a story like that. So in the meantime, use Dustin's story for your story, meaning that you understand the importance of it. It's okay to even share that with other clients. Like, it helps you. So, all right. So what are some things you went to telesales? Why? What's been easier or harder or different than in the two places?
So it's always going to be a transition when you're going from in-home to telesales. The reason I even did it was because our whole team was kind of moving in that direction, and I wanted to be, moving in the same direction as my team. This is a team sport, you know what I mean? Yeah. I always say, like, you want to do and follow the leaders of the group and hopefully become one eventually. So we were all going telesales, so I decided to jump on board. The main transition in the beginning that's hardest is you're not face-to-face, and when you're face-to-face with people, you can make that real connection with them. You look them in the eye and you can talk to them, and you're sitting there really connecting with them. So that being said, that's one of the main differences, is that you're not making that personal connection as much over the phone. So the objections are kind of the same and kind of different, but at the end of the day, if you're just genuine and you're straight to the point about you're there to help them, and your only goal is to make sure that their family is taken care of, then they'll feel that even through the phone, as long as your heart's in the right place.
Yeah. All right. So you're in here. How many, you're doing all CRM leads, correct?
Yeah, a ton of those. I actually did start to diversify my leads.
Which is good.
I just tried a bunch of different ones.
Yeah.
And I think I'll just keep doing that. I like, but yeah, the ILC CRM leads, the internet leads, I've always used them since day one. The 1 month instant internet with beneficiary. Just recently now, they just started the real-time campaign leads that come in real time. Those are great. So yeah, I mean, those are great, and they're very affordable. You can get a lot of them, and you give yourself more chances up to the plate when you are dialing or going in home. The more leads you have, the more likely you are to help more families. So definitely utilize what FFL provides. The ILC CRM is great. There's so many leads in there, so there's no excuse to not be able to pick up the phone, make the dials, and run the appointments.
With the real-time leads, and I don't know, so I haven't asked you this question, right? Nothing we've really talked about. I mean, I know we're here, whatever. But how many would you buy, say, if you bought 20 or 10? Do you have any idea, like, hey, I bought this many, I was able to, because you're doing one call close. Could you talk about that?
Yeah, so I'll get into that. So I spend about $1,000 a week,
okay,
straight up. That's what I spend. It's been working good for me. Leads range from $4 to $12 a piece usually. That's kind of the average. Like I said, I'll mix it up, but I spend about $1,000. So how many ever that gets me based on the leads that I buy. And then lately, with real-time leads, it's the people are filling these forms out on either YouTube or Facebook or some online source, and they're coming right to you in the time, like minutes after they fill them out with the real-time campaign. So quicker you get to them, the better. And I've been, trying to get to them as fast as I can. And then basically, when they answer the phone, I'll say, "Hey, Dave." Yep, it's Dave.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave. My name's Dustin, local field underwriter here in York County, and I got that form you just filled out. Looks like you were looking for some final expense coverage or life insurance coverage, and I just wanted to give you a call and see if I could help you out with that. You got about 15 minutes.
Yeah, I was just
to talk.
looking for, I don't know what the prices were or something like that.
Sure, yeah, I can definitely help you out with that, no problem. If you have about 10, 15 minutes, I can go over all that information with you. And
like right now, or?
Yeah, if you have 15 minutes, you have about 10, 15 minutes to talk right now?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, yeah, so what we'll do is I'll go through some information with you and kind of explain the process. And if you like what you hear, then we can go ahead and try to submit a request for coverage to see if we can get you approved.
So you get me approved today?
There's a possibility, yeah. Sometimes it can take 24 to 48 hours, but yeah, I can get you approved today. I work with over 24 carriers. They're all A-rated by the Department of Insurance, and I'm licensed directly through the state. So I have access to all of them, and I've been able to get pretty much everybody approved that I've ever worked with. So yeah, for sure.
So Dustin, I know you're streamlined. Is that the exact wording you say? And do you change your voice in any way, shape, or form for like the new agents watching this? Or do you sound the same every time? What has been your experience?
So I know my word track now so well that it's easy for me to sound, pretty close, but I do improvise as well because with each person, every case is different. Right. Every person is different. But as far as my tonality and the way that I talk, I keep it pretty much the same tone the whole way through. I don't get too excited. I don't get too down. I just try to stay professional, get to the point, and help the family the best that I can.
With your script, you probably don't even look at it anymore. I know you just said that. Was that the exact way you did it?
For the most part, yeah. It's just, hey, Dave, this is Dustin, local field underwriter here in York County, and I was just giving you a call because I got that form that you had filled out and just sent in. Looks like it came in from the internet form that you filled out. So I just wanted to touch base with you, and if you have about 10 or 15 minutes right now, I can give you that information. If not, then we could schedule something for either later today or maybe tomorrow. What works best for you?
So in that case, how many times are you? I mean, you may not know this, but percentage-wise, ballpark, how many of them do it right then?
7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. Why do you think that is?
7 out of 10. Well, because a lot of the leads, honestly, that I'm doing are a bunch of final expense mostly. Okay. So, I know with mortgages, it's easier to set appointments because it's geared towards younger people who just bought homes and they're usually at work. So you're going to have to schedule them for maybe later in the evening. But as far as the final expense goes, it's older people, and they usually have some time. They're either not working or they're at their house. The only times they ever say no is, I'm at the store, I'm at the doctor office, or I'm in my car. That's the only time they tell me no. Most of the time when I call for final expense leads, which is what I've been mainly running, honestly, past couple months, they're usually always available. So I figure instead of setting an appointment for later, why do that when they can talk right now and when I can possibly help them right now? Because at the end of the day, when I set an appointment, people forget. And then you call them, and then it's like you never get in touch with them again. Sometimes it just depends, Sometimes they do answer, but I notice when I set appointments, when I call them, it's like a low percentage of the time they actually answer on that first time you try to call them back. And right. So if I have them on the phone and they have the 15 minutes to talk, I want to talk with them right then and there, give them all their options, let them know what's available for them based on their, situation and everything. And if we can get a request submitted for them and get them covered that right then and there, let's do it. Why wait around? Nobody's promised tomorrow, so why wait around?
And, so when you're thinking about that and you've been in the home before, it'd almost be like going to a home and talk to them for a couple minutes and going, oh, yeah, I can come back. That'd be weird.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's a great, I've never heard anybody put it that way, but yeah, it'd be like knocking on the door and them saying, yeah, I'm available. And, oh, well, how about we schedule for in a couple hours from now or just tomorrow? No, if they're available now, they're available now. Let's get them or try to get them taken care of. So that's been my mindset, and it's been really, really working well for me. I've just been able to get it straight to the point. You know what I mean? I feel like I do a really good job at explaining everything to them. And
that's good.
And then locking it in, submitting a request, and getting them approved. We have so much resources that we can use that it's hard to not get people approved. We have enough carriers where no matter what the medical condition or prescriptions, we usually have somebody that we can get them covered with.
Yeah, that's great. Well, as we kind of start to wrap this thing up, what are some goals for yourself, I guess, would be a good one. Building a team. I know you were with Joseph and obviously, Mike and Brody and, Jamie and Grady. That's kind of the hierarchy right there, that whole group. Just great people. We were down here working with Mike, love him, like a brother, and your family as well, all of you guys. And but how's it been to be in the office? I know you dialed from home, but how have you noticed, like with work spots and that whole thing? Saving on work spots on the leads has definitely helped.
Oh
you.
yeah, that's huge.
But
If
in the
you
office environment, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't have work spots, go get it. I mean, if you're buying leads without work spots, then you're paying full price. So for $100 a month, I mean, it's a no-brainer because you're going to save several hundred every time you purchase leads. So
Right.
it's either just pay full price and pay extra $5 to $1,000 a month minimum, probably $500 to $1,000 minimum, or just pay the $99 and get all those discounts every time you go in and buy leads. So it doesn't make sense to not have it. As far as working with the team here in the office, nothing beats it. I mean, being around the crew, being around the team, Mike Curry, Brody Pompey, Joseph Whipple, and everybody else that's in here on our team. We got Mel Tejada in here a lot.
Yeah.
We got Robbie Wells in here a lot. So all those guys are, top producers. It's good to be around top producers and people who are doing really well in the industry. And, if you're having a bad day, you can take a break, take a breather, go talk to them. You know what I mean? Or, you guys can, be there for each other and kind of rally around. And when you're having a good day, the energy's good and flowing and everybody can feel it. It makes everybody else do well. So I think being in the office, if you can be, any office, wherever you are in the country, if you can be around the people that are doing this every day, it's going to help you get better too,
Yeah, it's true. Well, Dustin, it's been a pleasure to get to know you, listen a little bit, and excited for these guys. We have some of the best meetings here. We really do. It's just a great group. If you're around, Fort Mill, South Carolina, Columbia, even Charlotte, I don't think there's a better office around that I've seen personally in the Carolinas. And, I have one in Roanoke. We're kind of building that same culture there. Great people. You've met some of them. They've been down here. But it's so cool. It takes some time, but dude, this one's cooking. So if you're around here, jump on the Zooms with them, learn from them, get here, learn, train with these guys. I'm super excited about tonight. We have a BOM, and it's just I love being down here. So I'm down here. It seems like every couple weeks now, and I love being here. So it's like our second office, but it's really our home. So we love you guys. Appreciate you. How do they get a hold of you? They want to work with you. Best way to reach out to you?
So my FFL Instagram is Dustin_B.FFL, and you can find me on there. I'm always here in the Charlotte Fort Mill office. You can Google that. I'm not exactly sure of the address right off the top of my head, but you can find it. And if you get on work spots, you just put in Charlotte in there, and it'll show you right where the location is. But you can always usually find me here on Zoom. We're growing. We're always growing.
And what is that Zoom that you guys use? FFL?
That's
FFLsales.com?
Valiant. It's Valiant.
Okay, but it's FFL
Live Dials.
Livedials.com.
Livedials.com, yep.
Yeah, got it.
And
okay.
you can always message me on the Instagram again, Dustin_B.FFL, if you want to join our Zoom, or if you just want to connect or talk or get any advice or anything I can do to help anybody in the whole country who's part of FFL. We're all one big family, so I love meeting new people that are working towards the same common goal that we all are, to serve and protect the families out there.
And Dustin just mentioned something about addresses. Like if you're on work spots, you can find the office. It is 1698 Highway 160, Fort Mill, South Carolina, I believe. So that's the address, I believe. And but if you go to work spots and click on Charlotte, it will actually have it on it because we are a work spots office. It's on that, just on that south border there. And then of course, again, whatever office you're looking for, click on it. It'll tell you all the information you need. So it's funny, I get people calling, hey, what's the address? It's right there. It's on work spots. Well, I'm not on there. You should be. Right? You're going to save a lot of money. So,
yeah. And just to answer your one last question that you had before, my goal is to continue on the pattern I've been on, about 15 to 20 families per week. That's what I've done the past 5 weeks now. So I'm just, it's like once you get there and you can do it, there's no reason to fall back. There's no reason to, it should just be that or better. Like that's my new standard. I shoot for 20 families every week. This past week got like 18. So it's just about staying driven, motivated, consistent, and just having the heart to do it.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you, Dustin, for everything. Thanks for guys being on Warriors Podcast. And it's so true. He just hit all the points. I mean, driven and committed and consistency in your heart. It's just a simple business if you'll just go to work every day and have the right mindset and right attitude, show up every day, have that consistency. You can change your life. It's obviously changing his, the kind of money he's making and invested back in his business. It's going to be a big business. We're super excited about everything that's happening with FFL. Again, fflconvention.com. He had that. I didn't spit it out, but thank you for doing that. Register today. Get there. Learn. We're super excited. We'll see you next week on Warrior Podcast. Thanks, Dustin. It was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.